feet together. And just lengthening up through the spine, so thinking about a little towards the ceiling. Okay, and as we lengthen through the spine, we're not holding tension anywhere. We're going to imagine there's a clock face underneath our feet and turn our toes out to 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. Lift up through the heels, swing round so that our feet are in a nice straight line. You also find that that works to actually bring them into a hip width stance. It's magic. Okay, so as we again think about that length through the spine, keeping the knees a little bit soft, don't push your knees back. And we're going to take a little breath in, and as we breathe in, we're going to gently draw the tummy back towards the spine. Just enough that we feel a light tension. So imagine it's a new pair of jeans or a new pair of trousers, and you've done the belt up on your trousers, and that's the kind of light tension that we want to feel. Now we're just going to let the shoulders relax. We're going to imagine that we're holding a peach, a nice juicy peach underneath our chin, and we're going to keep the chin parallel to the floor. I'm going to take 2 more deep breaths, and then we're going to let the head gently turn to one side and back to centre, and the other side. And again, on that out breath, and back to centre on the in breath. And we're just releasing tension, so we need to mobilise all the joints and warm up the muscles. Let's do that one more. And as we come back to centre, we're going to drop the ear down to the shoulder. Now I'm not lifting my shoulder up there. Back to centre, other side. And again, over we go. So we're going to feel a little stretch through the neck. So we come back to centre, just do little circles with the nose. And back the other way. And back to centre. Lift the shoulders and slide them down. And again, just lift and slide. Up and down. Okay, we're going to roll them back and down this time. Squeeze those shoulder blades gently up and round. One more. And release. Give them a little shake out. Stay relaxed as we float the arms and down by the side. Out to the side this time. Just reaching up nice and soft, like a pair of wings. And float. Hold it there, and turn as you go, and back to centre, so we can feel that little bit of turn through the waist, and again. One more. So we come back to centre, float the arms down, and just drop the chin to the chest, bend the knees slightly, draw the tummy in, and slowly let yourself curl down the spine, and then slowly uncurl back up. So we're not rolling all the way down and touching the floor, we're just getting a little bit of mobility through the midsection and up and back. And again, so tucking the tailbone, pulling the tummy in, making yourself, imagine that you're rolling over the top of a ball. And then slowly uncurl. Let's do that one more time. And we go. A little bit of a curl down. And we're back up. Tips to the outside edge of the legs, and we're just going to push down towards the knee. In every direction, we're making sure that all of our muscles, all of our joints are mobile. Warmed up before we start. Let's do one more. This time we're taking it into some squats. Always with squats, We start by pushing the hips back and then bending the knees, and that's so that we don't push the knees forward, okay? So push back and sit down, and then we're going to drive through the back of the body. So think about your heels pushing into the ground to drive you back up again. You're going to feel your heels and your legs. Up we go, one more time. Beautiful, and we're back up. And then we're going to do some little heel raises. So we can go with very simple single heel raises. We don't want to make it too difficult on ourselves. Or we could go up onto our toes and alternate, and that gives our legs another little bit of a warm up also. Also, oh, I can hear my ankle cracking nicely. Oh, lovely. Okay, last one, other foot. And we're back down. Perfect. So let's take ourselves down to the mat. We're going to start by standing at the end of the mat, draw the tummy in, and remember that little roll down. Drop the chin down, bend the knees, and slowly, slowly we begin to take ourselves down. Now, if we have really bad backs here, we're going to take ourselves down to the floor either by holding on to something and just dropping the knees down first, okay? Always looking after our backs. But if we can, let's roll it down, bend the knees, keep the head hanging down there, walk the hands forward, and just bring ourselves into a simple tabletop position. So stable tables, four corners, knees are under the hips as a lovely straight line, hands are under the shoulders, and again a lovely straight line. And we're going to start with a simple Superman, just sliding the toes of one leg out along the floor, the fingertips of the opposite arm, so it's diagonals, back to, out to the corner, and then slowly back in, opposite side. Okay, so just giving that little Superman. Now, as we do this, we're gently drawing the tummy in and we're sliding the shoulders down the back. And we're going to go for that lovely stretch and lengthen, but without losing our balance, so we're not tipping over to the side. So really think about the shoulders being strong, that supporting arm stays lovely and long. And then we can start to lengthen and maybe lift just a little bit away from the floor. It doesn't have to be a big lift. In fact, it's better if it's not a big lift because that changes the exercise. Okay, so let's do a couple more of those. One more. And release. We're going to take ourselves all the way down to the floor onto our tummies. Okay. Now, let's start with our head on our hands and go for some nice easy movement. So fingertips underneath the forehead, shoulder blades sliding down the back. And imagine that there's an ice cube under your belly button and just pull your belly button away from the floor. Okay, so let's start by taking a deep breath in, holding the tummy in, and as we exhale, we're just going to lengthen through one leg and give it a little lift off the floor and lower down. Now as we lengthen the leg, rather than really tightening up the knee, I want you to think about squeezing your bum and then gently squeezing through the front of the leg, so that your knees stay reasonably soft and you're activating those glute muscles. Just alternating those simple leg raises to begin with, making sure that we're keeping the tummy switched on. So we've got that ice cube underneath the belly button at all times and the shoulder blades sliding down the back. Now let's do both legs together. Stretch and lengthen. Now we're not lifting this time, we're just lengthening out, seeing how far we can reach, and release. And again, squeeze and lengthen. Got those bum muscles working, I hope so. Squeeze and lengthen. Now, if you can, we're going to bring the arms down by the side. Palms facing up, shoulders still sliding down the back. And we've still got those ice cubes under our belly buttons. And this time we're going to push the fingertips down the midline of the leg, towards the knees, as we lengthen out through those legs. So gently pull the shoulders back, push the fingertips, and lengthen out through the legs, and release. Notice my nose is still very close to the floor. So what I'm not doing is that. Don't want to put any pressure on the lower back. Squeeze and lengthen and release. And again, lengthen and release. One more time. Lengthen and release. Perfect. Let's just push ourselves back into a little rest position. So toes together, your bum back towards your heels, and stretch out along the mat. And then slowly we're going to swing ourselves around into a sitting position. And just lower ourselves down to the floor. Ooh. So that we're lying on our backs with our knees bent and our feet flat on the floor. So the first thing we need to do is make sure those feet are hip width apart. Remember the clock face. Turn the toes out and then bring the heels in line with the toes. And then we're going to make sure the back is in a nice relaxed position. So we have a natural arch in our back, most of us. We're going to gently flatten the back into the mat if we can, and then just let it relax. And we'll do that 2 more times. Flatten and relax, and 1 more time. And as we relax the back, we can feel the tailbone gently pushing down into the floor. Okay, now take a deep breath and just let your hands rest down on the floor, and as you exhale the breath, let your shoulders relax. Keep the chin slightly nodded. Again, think about drawing the belly button back towards the spine, the belt's done up on your trousers, and imagine that you're balancing a tray across your tummy with some marbles on it. So we want to try and keep the marbles as central as we can. And we're going to go with some simple knee floats. So we're just going to float and back down. And you notice I haven't changed the shape of my leg at all. So I'm literally, imagine I'm holding a ball behind my knee. I'm just going to float the leg off the floor and back down. And this is our single knee fold. Let's change legs. And again, simple knee fold. Beautiful. So as we do it now, we're going to nod the chin and lift the head off the floor and back down. And again, little curl ups. This time as we lengthen, we're going to lift the head. So as we lengthen, as we float the knee and lift the head, we're going to pulse the hands 5 times on an in breath, 5 times on an out breath, and float down. And the other leg. Inhale, exhale. And again, now we're nodding the chin. Don't just lift the head off the floor because you're going to feel a lot of pressure through the neck. And if you can, if you need to, we could always, with the opposite hand, support the head as we pulse and down, and just keep changing sides. Beautiful. Let's do that one more time on each side. Think about making that distance between your hips and your rib cage shorter as you curl up, so you're really drawing the 2 together. This is a bit like spotty dogs trying to coordinate arms and legs. And relax it down, beautiful. So from here, we're going to flatten the back into the mat. We're going to draw the tummy in and gently squeeze the bum muscles so that the pelvis is tilted. And then we're going to slowly peel the back away from the mat. This is one of my favourite Pilates exercises, shoulder bridge. So we're going to start to peel away, 1 bone at a time. It's like a little row of buttons or some Velcro. Imagine that you're stuck down with Velcro and you're peeling the Velcro away, and then slowly curling back down, placing that Velcro or pressing those buttons, and then down goes your bum. And again, draw the tummy in, so there's a little thread drawing you up to the ceiling, but you have to get those tummy muscles active, and then squeezing the bum muscles, peeling away. Now we're going to hold that one up and slowly float the arms overhead. Oops. The joys of working out in home. And down again. Now we're going to curl down through the spine. move down a little bit. There we go. Here we go. Float. No, don't float. Peel away from the floor. Chin slightly nodded, shoulders relaxed, squeeze the bum. Float the arms. Squeezing from underneath so we stay nice and stable. Float the arms down and then curl down. Tilting the pelvis, placing your Velcro back down. And relax. Good. Give those legs a little swing. Oh, goodness me. That was me knocking my water bottle over as I kick the table. The joys of working out at home. Okay, we're going to come back down to the floor. This time, knees bent and feet flat on the floor, something that's slightly more compact for us to do. We're going to bring the fingertips by the ears. I'm not clasping behind my head, okay? We're going to nod the chin, lift up and cross over so we're peering past the outside edge of our leg and down. And the other side. And again. And again. 2 more. And 1 more. And relax it down. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to bring ourselves round onto one side. Just making sure I've got some leg room. We're going to lay down on the floor. Now when we lay down on the floor, there is a tendency to just sink down into the mat, and I want you to really think about lengthening the waist underneath. So there's a little gap between you and the floor. Shoulders are back and down, elbow pointing to the ceiling. Okay, we're going to lift the top leg up to hip height, and if we can, we're going to rotate outwards, but don't worry if you can't, okay? So if you can, point the toes, we're going to lift, flex, lower and point. Okay, so lift, flex, lower and point. Now if you can't do that, you're going to flex the foot with the knee facing forwards and just lift and lower. So a similar exercise, slightly differently engaging through the glutes. Here we go, up. 1 more. So we're careful that we're not rolling back. And relax it down. Going to let the top arm rest across along the body. Again, keep that length. We're going to draw the tummy in, shoulders back and down. Inhale, and as we exhale, float the top arm overhead. So that either side of our ears we have our arms, and we're going to lengthen out as if we're trying to touch the walls. And release. And again, overhead, squeeze and lengthen. Release. 2 more times, reaching over, lengthen and release. Let's try 1 more. Squeeze and lengthen and release. That was our torpedo. So let's do that on the other side. Quick swing round. And again, lengthening out, making sure that we're not going to kick anything. Hand on the hip, elbow pointing to the ceiling, lengthen through the waist. Top leg comes up, and if we can, rotate outwards, point the toes. So we lift, flex, lower and point. So if you need to for your balance, you can always bend that underneath leg. And again, lift, flex. For some reason my sofa is getting in the way today. 2 more times. Remember, you can point the knee forward, flex the foot, and just lift and lower. And relax it down. Back into that straight line, top arm resting along the body, floating the arms overhead. Here's my table. And reach away. Arms are by your ears. And release. And again, floating overhead. And reach. 2 more times. Lengthen and reach. And 1 more time. Reach away. And relax it down. We're going back round onto all fours, into your rest position. Toes together, knees open, and hopefully we can get a little bit closer to the floor in our rest position. Taking a deep breath in and really feeling the rib cage expand. Exhale, and again inhale, exhale, one more, inhale, exhale. Back into our tabletop where we started. Four corners, stable table. Drop the head, tuck the tailbone. Take a deep in-breath as you arch up to the ceiling. And exhale as you release. And we're going to really try and slide the shoulders and curl the tailbone. That distance between shoulders and tail as long as we can. And release. 2 more times. And curl. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Tuck the toes. Walk your hands back. Push onto your feet. So, drop the head down. Squeeze the tummy muscles. Straighten through the legs as much as you can. Walk the hands up the legs. And we're back to a standing position. Take a deep breath, stretch it up, and release. And again, take a deep breath, stretch, and release. Well done.